Yo, the fuck? How are you? You're early. Nice. What you doing? Slowly prepare to go bed because at 5 a.m. I need to wake up. Oh, tough life. I'm good. Just a stressful day for me. Don't feel good today. I need to react to the new stream for Guild Wars 2 Twitch channel. Also, this is why I'm streaming late. Also, there's a problem with Twitch. Sometimes it happens. Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you, brother. Hopefully it gets fixed. Yeah, same, man. What about you? You still not feeling good? You gonna do like a 24-hour shift tomorrow? Hey, Evan, how are you? Na 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 na. I was wondering when you play stream. Yes, tomorrow 24-hour shift, but can watch you. That was very easy, boring. Okay, that's good. We'll come hang out. I think tomorrow we're gonna do like a fashion contest with the guildies. Also guild missions. Maybe. If a lot of people are here to join. Playing PvP. You got addicted to PvP, didn't you? Well. You got addicted to PvP? You can't hear me well? Long time no see, bro. Look, Brado, hey. Why don't you come to the Twitch streams, man? So I'm gonna join tomorrow. I'm trying to not get upset, just need time. So to predict that some things may happen, that's why brain work for you. Try to see price movements. Okay, bro, and take it easy. And yeah, do as I told you. Don't think about it too much. Hey Vito, how are you doing? I have Twitch before, but already late because don't have space storage on my phone. You don't need to You don't need to install it on the phone to be able to watch it. You can just use it on the website. But yeah, you're always welcome. They're gonna announce a big update today in the stream. No doubt that need to be thrown to trash. I only respect the good people like you are good. Also take care, focus on stream, I count on you. When I will be able to have some free money I can buy. Thank you the fuck. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, man. Hopefully your mental health gonna get better. Hello, Sally can't play good stuff with y'all. Going to holiday for 2 weeks. But I'll tune into the stream to all travel. Yes, you're always welcome, Vito. Where are you going for a holiday? Brother, you gonna go? Not gonna watch the ArenaNet stream with us? It'll be in 10 minutes. Maybe, I don't know, I'm not sure. For a wedding, I'm going home to Croatia. Nice. Make some pictures for us. Post them in the guild Discord. Time to sleep here? Oh, 2 o'clock. Okay, man. Sweet dreams and good night. Guild Wars 2 is streaming. They are live now, but they didn't start doing stuff yet. So I'll just wait for them to share to you guys. Good night, Tecubrado. Hope we can catch one day at Discord voice chat to play Guild Wars 2. Yeah, you guys are always welcome. I gave everyone the perms. There's like 12 members in the Discord right now. I gave you like the perms to use the voice and post stuff. Ah. Yes, just let me know whenever you join, because I have to manually accept people. Brado21 just subscribed. Really? You weren't a subscriber before?
You can never have too much treasure.
Hey there, all good? Ban Justice, hey, how are you? Blind Justice, you are stanky? Dusky now? No, also known as Dusky now? Or I'm mistaken on you? I'm doing good. How are you? We're gonna be watching the devs stream. La la la. Okay, there's 400 people. Yo. They gonna start talking in 5 minutes or so. Let's see what they have to say. There's a rumor that Reaper might get nerfed this patch. But I don't know.
You rarely see one of those.
They hate us Necros. They hate us because they ain't us. Hero played swords, speed warrior, blah blah blah. Buff blade sworn. I sent you an invite to join the Discord. Okay. Accept now. Needle. I got no invite. But here I'll send you like a link to the server. Invitation. Blah blah blah. No. Invite people. Okay, there you go. There's the link. Please like the stream, so it will go to more people. Let me pin this message. Message. Call me Ned if it had hard to pronounce. Okay, it's not hard to pronounce, man. I watched Game of Thrones. Of course, it's not hard. Welcome, Ned. Okay, I'll give you perms. Blah blah blah. Reaper. Okay, there you go. I accepted you. Let's see. They're gonna start now.
All right, hello and welcome to the balance update preview for the June 24th balance update.
Welcome to the Nerf Hammer.
I'm Cal CMC Cohen, joined by Taylor Trig Brooks. Unfortunately, no Roy today, so apologies for some of the maybe imperfect streaming things that you will see today. No music in the intro. Hopefully everything else works out okay. Let us know if the audio balance is okay.
Everyone can hear well.
It's been a hot minute.
The voice is good.
Streamer, and someone wanted me to run the stream. Hopefully we'll have Roy back for the next one, but for now you get to deal with just Taylor and myself. How are you doing today, Taylor?
No, I'm doing pretty good. Excited for this patch. Some might say I'm pickled for it. But you know, I think this patch is going to be a pretty interesting one. Last patch was a lot of numbers tuning, and I think this patch is going to be not a lot of numbers tuning, a lot of functional changes, which I'm pretty excited to show with people.
Got some spicy changes for sure. Getting some echo.
I'm echoing.
Echoing.
Just don't nerf Relic of the Fractal for me, please. That relic is so good.
Great start.
Man, if only Roy was here.
If only Roy was here. If only we could figure this out beforehand.
Am I echoing?
Yeah, you're still echoing, bro.
Probably. This guy says remove background sound from your stream. Well, now they said you're muted.
Okay, how about now? Thanks, chat, for helping us out.
They said better. It's fixed.
Fixed? Okay,
All right, amazing.
everything works.
Right. Now we can proceed.
All right, thanks. Like I said, Roy's not here, so it's really unfortunate. But it looks like we have fixed the audio. Much appreciated. Chat. Now let's get into some balance. How about that? So let's move over here
June
to the
24.
PowerPoint
Okay.
and start talking about some balance changes. June 24th, actually also my birthday, so that's not important, but I always get distracted. Key update for the preview stream, though, is that there are now some skill icons included with all the patch notes. This is something we've seen pretty often that, is just something that could be improved with the stream, is that a lot of people just don't remember every skill name in the game or every trait name in the game, and
I don't know. I think it's pretty easy. Just remember every skill and trait in our game. But now they have pictures. Probably one of the biggest points of feedback for the stream is so you guys can see what exactly we're talking about and follow along just a bit better.
all right, you ready to hop in, Taylor?
Yep.
Let's get going. Starting off with, I think we have one general change.
Yes.
Let us hear it.
Yep, this is Blasting a Dark Field will now grant Area Dark Aura instead of Area Blindness. This patch, in a couple places, we're trying to add some Dark Aura hooks, because it was previously only accessible, I think, through, like, leaping through a dark field. So we're trying to add a bit more ways to get it, and a bit of trait hooks to try and, like, just a new thing to play around. So this is the one general change we have, and you're going to see in some upcoming traits some hooks for it.
It's very easy for a Reaper to get a dark feel, like dark aura.
Damage reduction to
Just leap through the great sword
you get Torment
or
on
skill.
hit, so.
All right, it's pretty exciting. We'll obviously get to some of those changes later in the stream. We are kicking things off in alphabetical order this time. There is, a sensible order to the way that we cover the professions today. So starting off with the Elementalist. Let's see what we got.
Chat is
here.
also saying that you should turn yourself up a little bit, maybe?
Turn myself up. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've turned myself up. Let me know how it is. I can turn myself up a bit more. Yeah, so starting with the Elementalist, we have some adjustments to Hammer. Quite a few adjustments to Hammer, actually. There are a number of numerical changes that we'll see. In addition to... Well, there's a good reason, actually. Then we also have some reworks to utility skills, and as always, some minor tweaks and adjustments to traits. So let's just get started. The big change here is that Flame Wheel is getting a reduction in its damage bonus. This is primarily due to the interaction with like Tempest Overloads, and we'll quickly speed through the next couple of ones here. There's a pile of Hammer notes. The goal here is that Hammer is largely unchanged, but the value of Flame Wheel for things like Tempest Overloads is significantly reduced, right, Taylor?
Okay, nerfed in
Yep, this
PvE.
is actually a buff to hammer damage, because Flame Wheel is going down by 10%, but all hammer damage going up by 15%.
Increased
the goal
power.
here is to put the power of hammer into hammer. Flame Wheel was previously how we used to like bump hammer up a bit, but when a large amount of damage is coming from things that aren't weapon skills, like profession mechanics, it meant that, it held back how much we could put damage into hammer, which is why, Hammer Tempest was such a good build, but Hammer Catalyst was falling behind. So this is how we're going to choose to try and even things out a bit so we can put more of the power level in Hammer's actual skills.
All right, very cool. Moving on, we got a really interesting rework to Arcane Power here. It's now going to be called Arcane Echo, and the idea is that it is kind of like a mimic for weapon skills. Obviously, Mimic is a Mesmer utility that allows you to get a very quick recharge on one of your other utility skills, and then increase the cooldown based off the cooldown of the skill you use. Basically the exact same thing with Arcane Power, just for weapon skills. So, maybe you need some more Meteor Showers in your life. You can take Arcane Power, cast Meteor Shower again. Maybe you cast Elemental Celerity, cast Meteor Shower again. Could be a lot of Meteor Showers.
Yep.
And then a minor tweak to Arcane Lightning. Instead of giving the extra Arcane Power crit damage stacks, doesn't make as much sense anymore. We thought it could still fit, but now it's going to give you quickness when you use Arcane Echo, so it just gives you more speed in using your Meteor Shower, or whatever other skill you want to cast after using Arcane Echo. Next up, we have a rework to the Glyph of Elemental Power. You want to talk about this one, Taylor?
Yeah, Glyph Elemental Power. Before, it was just like a button that you press and it buffed your next strikes. It was kind of boring. It was decent for the amount of burning you could get out of it, but we kind of wanted to make this more utilitarian skill. But like that's how a glyph could shine, is a lot of glyphs do the same thing, but like slightly different per attunement. But we're making this do something like super different per attunement. So
Yeah, it's kind of hard to play.
it'll still be a stun break,
Elementalist.
but fire
Very
is going to
squishy.
do all the damage and burning
But
it just
it is
did.
fun.
But then the other attunements are going to be pretty different from other things. So
Weaver
water will
is
give
really
condition
fun.
cleanse, earth will give barrier to allies, and then air will daze. So it is kind of like a Swiss Army knife. What you want to do with it when you take the skill, you can slot it in for DPS, but maybe there are other times when you use it for other things. So hopefully giving it a bit of a new identity there.
All
I'm
right.
too loud now.
Your Taylor is now too loud. Talk a little quieter, I guess. Moving on to some of the utility
Weaver?
skills that we were talking about, and you have an elite skill on here as well. Ether Renewal, this is a skill that just isn't really great. We've reduced the cast time quite a few times over the history of the game, and it's still not really having the impact that we like. I think that we're pretty happy with where the cast time is now. It's obviously still pretty long, but you do have the opportunity to cover that cast with maybe stability or a block, maybe like Arcane Shield, for example. But even in those cases, the amount of healing you're getting is just not good enough. So we're getting a pretty significant increase here. Per pulse, up about 50% or so. And, you know, now if you get the full heal off, this is going to be hopefully a little bit stronger than a lot of the other healing skills because there is that extra risk, hopefully a little bit higher reward. Signet of Water getting a nice little update here where it's also going to be removing conditions from allies. So we have a little bit of healing and now a little bit of cleanse, just like a pretty useful utility skill for support builds if you feel like you need a little bit more healing or condition removal. And Cleansing Fire, getting a big patch note here of breaking stun once again. Some of you guys might remember a long time ago when all the cantrips were stun breaks and all the early builds played all cantrips and they were all stun breaks and it was very good. And a lot of those changed to not be stun breaks anymore. Since then, we've seen that Cleansing Fire just isn't really... It doesn't really have a role that is valuable. For a long time, that role was that it gave you access to Condi removal when you're not swapping into water, because, I mean, again, we're talking about like 10 years ago at this point, 12 years ago at this point, where so much of Elementalist's condition removal was baked into the water attunement. Now that's not quite as accurate. You have other traits that are giving you access to Condi Cleanse when you're not doing that water swap. So the value of Cleansing Fire is just a little bit lower. And we've seen, you know, over the years, we've made this an ammo skill. We've kind of added might to it. We've tweaked the Condi Cleanse and the cooldown, and it's never really gotten to the level of a playable skill. So now it's just going to break stun again. It is going to have like that more general use case of being a stun break. It's going to have value outside of Condi matchups. Obviously, you don't want it to still be an ammo skill, so that going back down to 1 ammo. We are bumping up the cleanse a little bit in competitive modes. We want to make sure that this feels good in Condi matchups, but also has applications outside of that, because that is more of the opportunity that you can slot this skill on your bar and not feel bad about it.
Yeah, I think small note is that this is for the just normal Cleansing Fire. Lesser Cleansing Fire from the trait will not be a stun break, so you're not just get random stun break procs from that.
For sure. And Tailored Victory, maybe Taylor's Victory, is that this skill will now let you move.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward that it stopped your movement, made it a bit harder to land, so hopefully it's just smoother quality of life change for this skill.
I think we've seen recently in recent updates that there's a lot of cases where we are kind of finding the skills that don't let you move and seeing which ones just feel a lot worse to use. 100 Blades still stationary, but you know, we've been reviewing these as we go through the patches. Maybe someday. Moving on, we've got some trait updates here. Pyromancer's Puissance.
No longer
going to remove your own might stacks when you trigger Flame Expulsion. Still going to get that might sharing, still going to get that damage explosion, but we found that this is just a pretty... I'm not sure exactly what word I'm looking for, but it feels really bad to build up all the might with Puissance, and then as you're going to another attunement, where maybe I want to still do damage in Air Attunement or still want to do damage in Earth Attunement, and losing all those might stacks, you still get the burst of Flame Expulsion, but overall it's like not super worth it. So we are just removing that kind of downside and making sure that the trait feels a bit better to play, and we'll, if we need to balance the Flame Expulsion damage or balance the might stacks or all those other things, we'll do that as needed, but for now we're just going to make the trait feel like the best version of itself, I guess.
Yep.
Next up, update to Blinding Ashes, getting a full rework. You want to talk about this, Taylor?
Yeah, this is turning a new trait Inferno. Burning will now scale with power instead of condition damage, but at a reduced rate. So this basically competes with some other damage bonuses in this trait line, but if you are a build that just so happens to be applying a lot of burning, it might be interesting to take this trait now instead of just flat modifiers on it. You know, a lot of fire skills apply burning as well, and so if your burning just does a bit more damage, it's at a reduced rate, like we said, so it's not going to use the exact same you know, equation to calculate damage, but it should hopefully be pretty interesting. Maybe some builds want to take this instead of like 10% or puissance. So
Yeah, obviously.
just trying to add more options to the builds here, because Blinding Ashes, the old way, it just kind of like blinded randomly, and it wasn't really a trait we like the playstyle of. So trying something new here.
You know, the big thing here is that your character's base power is 1,000. Your character's base condition damage is 0. So we don't want to just say, hey, your base damage of burning is increased and you have a bunch of power and it's just even better. But essentially it's going to be like a higher base damage, but reduced scaling in that sense and more valuable to different types of builds.
Yep.
Next up, Soothing Disruption, getting a pretty big update as well. Previously it was that all cantrips will give you regen and vigor. They're also going to regen, but now it's going to be a case-by-case different boon per cantrip. So Ether Renewal is
They started with the class that I barely play even. Are they gonna balance Elementalist? They're gonna balance everyone. I'm just waiting for the Necro stuff to see what they're gonna do.
Protection when you cast that. So obviously we just had the update to Cleansing Fire to make it a stun break as well.
From what I see now, they give it a lot of buffs, to be honest.
Soothing Disruption. You know, there's a lot of powerful boons on this trait now, so maybe it looks a little bit more appealing.
Necro and Engie. You're waiting for that?
Last change, pretty big one here to Elemental Bastion as well.
Guardian should be
This
close,
is
like
small
really
change
close.
with hopefully big effects. You know,
yeah.
Tempest identity in competitive modes is through aura sharing and healing through their auras, and that's something.
Guardian
that
next
pretty
is
enjoyable.
next,
A lot of
I
people
think.
like that identity in it. But
The next
in
class is
PvE,
Guardian.
Where Alacrity was in its trait line, it wasn't really able to like take all those aura sharing effects.
There's a rumor
So
that
we
they're
thought
gonna
about how
nerf
we
it.
could like
Nerf
align their
Necro.
identities, and we decided to just add Alacrity to Elemental Bastion to give Tempest the ability to take this trait. There's still going to be Alacrity on Lucid Singularity. There are some builds that take Lucid that wouldn't be able to also flex into Elemental Bastion. So for now, we're just having Alacrity on both slots. Maybe in the future, we'll think of a way to have those other builds also take Bastion and then make a new trait. That's not just identity as Alacrity sharing, but for now we're happy that Heal Tempest will potentially be able to, you know, do some aura sharing.
Yep, definitely true.
How often does this
So we got
balance
for Ellie
comes?
for this patch.
I think every like
Yep. Engineer.
maybe 2
getting
months.
A decent amount of changes
so.
this patch. A lot of it's focused around the core things of it. Its core utilities and core traits. See, we're gonna have some elixir changes. Kit
Engineer.
updates. The kit updates are, you know, pretty involved, and then some core trait reworks to make some trait lines more appealing than they are now.
All right, let's jump into it. Starting off with some elixir changes.
Yep. Elixirs, a lot of them have been unused for a while, and so we're adding some additional functionality on top of all of them to see if they can, you know, be slottable skills. Elixir B, its entire identity is giving you a lot of boons, so now it's going to do that even better and extend all boons on you by 3 seconds. So you're going to have boons from other sources, give yourself some short stability, short, you know, quickness, and then use Elixir B, extend all of it to hopefully, you know, get even more of a moment of power through it. Elixir C is a full condition convert, and that's a skill that, you know, a couple other classes have. Contemplation of Purity is a very powerful skill we see used, but Elixir C is very weak in comparison. And so instead of like slapping a stun break on it and making it the same skill, we try to see if it can go a different route. Make it instant so it can cleanse yourself through heal or taunt and fear, and now it's going to heal you for each boon you have after converting conditions. And so this is after converting all of them. So you could just use it when you have like 7 boons from other sources and no conditions and just get that heal, or you can convert a lot of conditions to boons and then get a big heal on top of that. So just trying to get a bit more value. And the last one is Elixir R. It's now going to be a stun break again with an increased cooldown. This is a skill that I think long time ago used a stun break, and then it didn't, and then nobody played it ever again. And we've buffed it a couple of times, but have never really saw use. So we're adding that back, and then going to see how it plays. has some really nice utility on the tool belt with it, that res, so getting a pretty good stun break and then res utility on top of it could be pretty powerful.
Yeah, pretty similar story to Cleansing Fire, where it just kind of fell off the face of the earth after not being a stun break, and we've tried to balance that version of the skill over the years, and it hasn't quite gotten there. So, let's try to balance the stun break version again.
Yep.
Detection pulse.
Yep.
Well, not
Another
anymore.
another pretty unused thing. Detection pulse being reworked. Before it was very, very niche in its use cases to reveal just players. It'll being reworked into flashbang, which you're gonna throw out an explosive shell at an area, so it's kind of like a grenade or a mortar. You just throw it in an area. It's gonna land and then daze and blind people on impact, and it's still gonna keep the reveal component. It's like now a 600 range where it used to be 900, but you can throw it. So it's going to also keep the reveal, but hopefully be a lot more usable and make things like utility goggles even more usable. Utility goggles are pretty good skill by itself, so having a good tool belt on top of it.
Hey, those devs are live now? Yeah, they are.
Even more appealing.
We're watching them live right now.
Some keen-eyed people read flashbang and be like, wait a minute, you guys, that's a trait. And then you can go to a next point where it's not. Flashbang being reworked. This is a trait that a lot of people did not like playing against. It was seen as annoying. So we're reworking it to hopefully be something that's more interesting, called Grand Entrance. It'll make Explosive Entrance grant you resistance for a really short period, like 1.5 to 2 seconds, and then also increase your critical strike chance for a short period of time. So it's going from a trait that would, just blind people to now it is enhancing the first skill you use basically after you get that proc. So that, dodge, get Explosive Entrance, and the next skill or two you use will be like pretty high damage because you won't be affected by weakness, and you also get that increased critical strike chance.
Yeah, it should be pretty powerful. A lot of changes to the bomb kit here as well. If you want to talk about those. Most importantly, bomb is nerfed.
Nerfed the bomb. Okay.
Bomb kit was a kit that we wanted to add a bit more agency into. And so we're doing a couple changes, starting with the first two. We're putting more power into the other skills of bomb kits, so we wanted to take a bit of power out of bomb. It was actually a pretty high coefficient. It's just that using the other skills made this kit terrible. So hopefully they're not terrible now, so bomb's power level can go down. Firebomb, it's getting a change that you'll see a bit of other places this patch. It's going to inflict increased burning on the first pulse, where the total burning will be unchanged. But basically this means that you just need to hit people with the first perk to get a lot of the value, and the pulsing field will be less needed.
Yeah, that's something we've done on a few skills recently, and we'll see a bit more of that later in the patch as well, where a lot of these longer duration pulsing fields, they're you get a lot of value if people stand in them the whole time, or you lock someone down in the whole time, but the most common case is that that's not super realistic. So we want to make sure that, that extended value still exists, but these skills are still reasonable or decent if
your soul is mine.
The initial couple hits as well. Actually, we still want to reward you for getting the full value of it, but we don't want you to feel bad about the skill if you're only getting the initial impact.
Yep. And then Concussion Bomb is seeing a tweak, being renamed to Galvanic Bomb, a more electricity-focused skill. It's basically going to be a bomb that does daze. So this is, like we said, adding more agency to the kit, adding a bit of CC to a lower cooldown skill. And then on this note, the goal of this change in the flamethrower for PvE, some of the things are being tweaked, and our goal is not to nerf these skills. So right now, as written, Galvanic Bomb is not going to have the confusion in it, which we're still evaluating with this patch, and other things we'll mention in the patch we're still evaluating. So maybe confusion will work its way back onto the skill for just PvE, or Firebomb will get that damage put into it, and Concussion Bomb or Galvanic Bomb now will stay just the daze. But we're still thinking about some of these changes and the exact fine details. But moving down to Smoke Bomb, the skill is now instant, and it's been moved up to the tool belt slot. And so basically, this skill, and again with Flamethrower, a lot of similar changes. We want the defensive skills to be on the tool belt so they're more easily accessible. I just feel better to always have to press them and not have to go into a kit and then press them to get the active defenses from your abilities. And in its place in the 4 slot is Magnet Bomb. Magnet Bomb was a skill previously only accessible through the kit traits in
Streamlined
tools.
kits.
Streamlined kits drop a magnet bomb, but now it is a skill you're able to use. It sets an explosive that pulls in enemies at a delay. So you're going to get a pull in as well into your other bombs.
And obviously, pull very powerful when you have a bunch of pulsing.
I'm so scared about Necro, man.
Firebomb.
Yep. And then lastly, Big Ol' Bomb, which was the old tool belt.
They seem
is now
like
being
big
moved to the
changes
fifth slot,
for other
replacing Glue
classes.
Bomb. So Glue Bomb's kind of completely gone. Now Big Ol' Bomb's there. Getting a couple tweaks to make it better. It's now going to knock down instead of launching people, because when you're putting all these AoEs below you, you don't really want to knock them away from you. So it's just going to knock them down. And now getting new functionality that is going to combo blast finishers twice. So if you have like a water field in there, going to get double heal, double stealth field, double might. Could be a pretty interesting skill how you use it, and getting a slight increase in range.
The explosion is so big it has to be at least 2 blast finishers.
Right.
Moving on, we have these flamethrower changes that you were alluding to. So why don't you go over those as well?
Yep. Going down here, Flame Blast. This is kind of more of a quality of life of the skill. It did some damage when it passed through people, but that was kind of hard or annoying to use. So now all the damage is going to be on this explosion, which is getting increased a little bit. Smoke Vent, like we talked about, Smoke Bomb is getting moved to the tool belt slot. So this will be a stun break that you have always access to, which makes it a lot better. Napalm was previously a skill that you just like put down a line of fire, and when people stood in the line for like all 8 seconds, it's like, wow, this skill does a lot of damage. But in a lot of places in the game, they don't do that. So it's being changed. It's being moved to the 5th slot and then reworked. So it'll be now kind of like, think of it like a supercharged auto attack. The attack will burn on each hit. It'll be larger range, do more damage. So it's going to be kind of your burst skill. Something you want to do with Flamethrower is a lot of its power in some game modes was in the auto attack, and it was kind of like just there for the auto attack. So we're trying to take power, put it into these other skills, and then, like I said, maybe nerf the auto a bit for like World v World, where Flamethrower is already popular, so that the power can be in these discrete skills that you want to press. And lastly, a new skill in the Flamethrower. Stoke the Flames. It's kind of like a self-stim skill that you're going to want to press before you do some bursts. It's going to give you might and quickness, and then burn nearby enemies. There's like a small fire field attached to this, because we still want people to be able to blast might with the kit. But it's something you press when you know you're about to do a burst with, the new Napalm, or you get some with a Flame Blast, or even just spam some more autos. So that's kind of the identity for the skill.
Kind of like a similar change to the Glyph of Elemental Power, where we saw like those burning stacks on hit with incendiary ammo, but now making that more of a discrete moment of a burst of fire happens, and it's like more easy to avoid. It's not going to happen instantly, all those good things. Add some counterplay while also just adding the damage to the game.
Last small change for Flamethrower is its trait Juggernaut is being moved to the Master tier, replacing Pinpoint Distribution. The pulsing nature of the stability on Juggernaut wasn't something we were a really big fan of, so we're changing it so it's no longer going to pull stability, but instead give you stability and Fire Aura when you specifically activate Napalm. So Napalm is that big channeled skill that's going to do a lot of damage where you want stability, you don't want to be interrupted. So we're giving it there instead of it's going to be a pulsing thing. But because it's like a little less strong, it is moving down to the Master tier, replaced by a trait that we'll get into it for a second.
Well, it's not
more engineer stuff?
I'm going to say a quick thing about Juggernaut. There's like the really weird interaction that some people in chat might be aware of, where like when you went into Flamethrower, it started like the stability pulse timer. And then as long as you were in Flamethrower, when that timer expired, it would give you stability. So you could like be in Flamethrower, swap out to do something else. And then as long as you were in Flamethrower, when that interval ended, it would give you stability. Just like a really weird interaction that, on top of just pulsing stability in general, there's like really weird incentives on how you would play with the Flamethrower to maximize the value of Juggernaut. So this rework just makes it just a lot healthier, a lot more... I don't know what word I'm looking for, like normalizing the gameplay around it. But let's move into grenade stuff.
These are some smaller changes for kits. Grenade kit is getting its velocity baseline. A lot of the time, taking grenades in competitive modes, you needed Grenadier. It was kind of unplayable without because they were super slow. So if anything moved, you couldn't hit them. Now, making that baseline grenade kit, you do not need Grenadier to make it playable. Grenadier is still going to be a bit valuable. It does still increase the radius. So if you take grenade kit without Grenadier, your aim has to be a bit more on point. But we wanted to see this kit playable without the specific explosives trait. And another small change, Fumigate is now going to remove conditions from the user when initially activated. This is something we did to Guardian Torch 5. That cleanses a lot from allies, but it didn't really do anything for you. So it's going to cleanse like 2 conditions when you start activating it, just to be a bit more useful when you're by yourself.
Right. Some more traits.
Yep, this is going into some of the trait reworks. This is targeting the firearms line. Hematic Focus being slightly reworked. It's going to give you Fury when you bleed an enemy, and Fury has increased effectiveness. Before, this trait was that you have increased crit chance against bleeding enemies, but the add-up trait in PvP, how in competitive modes, how it's balanced, the bleeding duration was super low, so you couldn't really get a lot of value out of this trait. So now, with it giving you Fury and having increased effectiveness, the value will be a lot more comparable in competitive modes as it was in PvE. And thus making the firearms line a lot more appealing for a DPS compared to explosives. And this new trait will also help with it. The new Grandmaster that's replacing Juggernaut is called Equal and Opposite Reaction. It's going to grant you quickness and stability when you disable an enemy. So a lot of the traits in firearms, if you were like a DPS build in competitive modes where you couldn't stack up a lot of conditions to get good modified ammo, they were pretty unappealing. So we wanted to add one that a DPS build would take that's not exactly just a damage modifier. And so Equal and Opposite will give you quickness, kind of like the warrior trait that we see people enjoying, and also some stability access, so you can follow up on that CC. Another trait getting reworked is Iron-Blooded. It's now being reworked into Chain Reactivity. When you finish a field with a blast or leap finisher, you get Barrier, and then every third trigger of this trait gets a larger Barrier in might. So we wanted this to be a self-sustained trait, Grandmaster for Alchemy trait line, because we felt like between HGH and Purity of Purpose, supports had pretty good options. But if you want to take the Alchemy trait line and you weren't like loaded up on some elixirs to get value of HGH, Iron-Blooded was really not what you wanted. So adding a new trait to potentially take Alchemy for builds that don't have a ton of elixirs, taking HGH.
Should be really fun for everyone who enjoys blasting and leaping.
Yep. Gadgeteer, another Grandmaster getting some slight tweaks to it. It's now going to change the benefits it gives to both Utility Goggles and Slick Shoes. It's going to cause Slick Shoes to break stun, grant stability instead of crippling foes, which is a lot better. Slick Shoes, 40-second cooldown, pretty high, and then also taking a Grandmaster for it, making it give you a break stun, seems pretty good. And then Utility Goggles is going to grant Barrier instead of Protection. A couple patches ago, we put Protection baseline on Utility Goggles. This one will give you more. So it's not going to give you Barrier for more in-the-moment defense than overtime.
Yeah, I think we really like the idea of Gadgeteer. We're like overcharging, supercharging your gadgets is really cool and interesting for builds that want to play a lot of gadgets. It's just some of these bonuses just weren't up to par with the others.
Guardian, okay.
So we can move into Guardian next. Got some updates to the Greatsword.
Nerf Willy, nerf
maybe
full
agreement
bender,
or Way of
nerf
Judgment
full bender, nerf full
no,
bender,
ideally maintains a lot
nerf
of
singed,
the
nerf
value that it has
singed,
right now. We'll
nerf
talk about that
singed.
very shortly. And then, as with most professions, we see some tweaks to skills and traits. But starting up with the Greatsword changes, we have Leap of Faith getting a nice little bump on the healing on the first hit. We are adding the reduced healing on additional hits that we see on so many skills like this. We basically want the skill to feel good when you're only hitting one target without blowing out too hard when you're hitting multiple targets. So, you know, pretty big bump here, about 1,000 to 1.75k. 17.5.
I didn't even realize the Leap of Faith
just a little bit extra
increases
value,
healing.
add some more sustain, a little bit more defense to the Greatsword, and you know, hopefully fills. I'm really struggling with words today for some reason. Just the nerves of running the stream are getting to me, but a little bit of extra defense for Greatsword feels pretty good. Similar resolution. This is another skill like we've seen with Firebomb, getting some extra damage on the first strike. We've talked about this a lot already as to why we're doing that, so we won't really reiterate it here, but same thing for Symbol of Resolution. And the last change here for Binding Blade, updating it so that the projectiles from the skill will only hit their intended target, so the original target as you are throwing the projectile is the only one that projectile will hit. Obviously you can still dodge it, destroy it, all those things, but you can't get the really, you know, weird situation, or you know, the everyone's favorite situation where you just have 5 enemies nearby and you get a bunch of binding blades that all hit one enemy and do a ton of damage to them. obviously pretty powerful. It's not really something that we're happy with, so we are changing the skill so that you will only hit your intended targets. But we are increasing the damage here just to make up the difference, and also increasing that pull distance. You know, gives you more opportunity to pull people into your Symbol of Resolution, pull people into your Whirling Wrath, and just do all the great damage that Greatsword deals.
Yeah, small note on the pull distance is this actually 750 was the range that the blade would fall off before. That's not changing. It said 600, but that was kind of a lie. It was actually 750. So this is just making sure that if you have a blade on someone, they'll be pulled fully to you instead of just halfway sometimes. And also, before interrupting, I'm realizing that because we don't know if our amazing stream runner forgot a slide, there are some holo changes coming in this patch that will be in the preview. For V3, the first one is to Vent Exhaust, the Grandmaster trait. We're adding Vigor to it on dodge. So it's a trait that you want to dodge a lot for, so get a bit more dodging on it. The second is Holographic Shockwave, which is Hollow Forge 5. Now when you leap up in the air, it's also going to be an evade. It's a pretty high cost, I think 25%. So paying that high cost for CC is also strong, but also being able to be a strong defensive tool
Guardian
felt like
is
it'd be interesting. And
in
lastly,
dire
Prime
need of
Lightning's
nerfs,
damage
and
on
you
the
buff.
impact in PvP is going from 1.0 to 1.5.
A lot of
So
people hate Guardian.
really want that to have a high impact. So sorry for that little detour, but those will be in the preview post. If you didn't catch that.
Nerf will bender.
Changes, so it's a shame that the slide was missed, but that's totally fine. Aura of Wrath. Projectiles fired by the skill now track their target. This is, as we're looking at Scepter, is kind of like one of the weaker, underperforming weapons for Guardian.
I think they won't
The issue is
nerf
that outside
their
of
spoiled boy,
skill two,
the
there's not
Guardian.
a ton of damage, just because Aura of Wrath is so unreliable. And we want to make sure that, you know, we're not going to like add a bunch of damage to Chains of Light or increase the damage where it's already good. So we want
Here's
to make
the
sure that Orb of
Catalyst.
Wrath was like a reliable skill, so it's going to track target. Obviously, it's still like a
They
super
actually
fast
buffed
projectile.
Catalyst.
Should be
buffed the
still pretty
hammer
avoidable. We'll definitely
right
keep an
now.
eye on the damage that it's able to do with the new functionality and tone it down if needed. But we felt like having a reliable projectile was more important, and we'll find the right balance point with this projectile being reliable, as opposed to having a skill that maybe does a bit too much damage if you always are like right on top of someone, for example. And then Chains of Light, just getting a nice little cooldown reduction, a little bit more utility for the Scepter, you know, more immobilizes, a little bit more vulnerability. Set up your Symbol of Punishment a bit more.
Oh hell no.
Nice little update for line of wording here. Cast time going
Catalyst
down,
is one of those
over
classes
half.
that if you're good at,
0.6 seconds
you'll
off.
never
It's very
die.
close to unsteady ground on Elementalist now.
especially with the
And,
hammer.
You know, this is just a skill where it felt like the cast time was a bit too long. Obviously, you can still kind of lead your target to place it in the proper location, but you know, you still have to place it correctly, and there's still going to be a cast time there. We just felt like it was a bit too long.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about Ray of Judgment?
Yeah, so Ray of Judgment, we are changing it to kind of be an interesting middle ground. I don't know if you've played this game for a long time, you know that Ray of Judgment, a long time ago, it was like a little like ribbon you threw out that like bounced, blinded, and it did some things. It was kind of a support, you'd had it on focus, but basically when Ray of Judgment became its current version, Focus's identity was
Spellbreaker 2 is really bad in PvP.
with the advent of offhand
Oh god.
sword, which is also DPS
I
offhand,
playing
it's kind
against
of more interesting.
Spellbreakers.
We felt like we wanted to push Focus back into a more utilitarian.
So tanky and have tons of
it has
stuns.
Shield of Wrath, which while blocking and dealing damage is pretty good middle ground. So Ray of Judgment's also going to try and seek a middle ground. So what it'll be now is it's a targeted area where you select it, and then a beam of light will rain down, and then allies in the area will cleanse a condition and are healed. And then enemies are blinded and then get basically a mini version of the current Ray of Judgment attached to them. So because it's more targets, we're reducing the number of impacts down from 9 to 6, because with Guardian, they're on hit, that can get kind of crazy if you were to attach a full version. Increasing the damage, so in PvE it's equivalent, but hoping that Focus can see a new niche of more utility where you do want some damage, but also having some defense like a block and a cleanse are more appreciated than just full damage.
It's kind of a mashup of the two versions of Ray of Judgment that have existed.
What's after Guardian?
Shield of Wrath, cooldown
A B C
reduction.
D E F
The
G
skill's pretty
H
good,
I J
but
K.
you could use it a little bit more often.
I think Mesmer after Guardian.
Yeah, we do want to see a bit more focus, so we identified Shield of Wrath as something where it's like, you know, pretty close to balance, but I think it will still be fine at 25 seconds, so let's, you know, bring it down and see if that in combination with the new Ray of Judgment kind of brings focus to the forefront a bit more. Got some updates to utility skills here. Signet of Wrath is now going to have the burning on it. It's obviously it has the Conti damage passive, so it's a bit more of that offensive option. The burning here makes a bit more sense than on Signet of Judgment, which we see below is not going to do burning anymore. Now it's going to have blind weakness to kind of play into that more defensive identity of the skill. Now it's like a pretty interesting stun break where you kind of get that. You get the stun break, you get the blind, you get some weakness.
You play Guardian right now, right? In
Well,
PvP?
And Shield of the Avenger getting a pretty nice update here with it's going to be granting some protection to allies within its area in addition to its previous effects. And
Logan
one final
Hunter.
update here, Heavy Light. What's going on here, Taylor?
Heavy Light was a trait that was interesting. It was one of the first traits that also applied like on Disable and Defiant, something we do a lot now. So it had its split. But then now most traits are merged. Instead of merging it together, we thought it'd be more interesting if we could try this new functionality with Heavy Light that is also going to apply its disabled bonus damage to enemies that are exposed. So a lot of the time when you break a break bar in PvE, they'll get exposed. Sometimes they'll be CC'd and you're already getting this bonus, but other times they won't. So now for specific bosses, that this trait will be like even more burst, potentially. So trying to see if this is like an interesting idea. If it is, we might apply it in more places in the game. If not, then it'll stay how it is. But trying to play around with exposed a bit, see how it goes.
Mesmer.
Moving on to Mesmer next. What's going on here?
Trait
Couple
reworks.
things. One thing, interrupt trade adjustments. This is something that was happening in Thief, spoiler alert as well, is that changing interrupts to, instead of punishing enemies more, give more bonus and agency to the player that interrupted. And then going on to Chronomancer Master tier, a while ago, crit damage was put on improved alacrity, and that was a trait everyone clicked on. So trying to make that not the case anymore. And the Mirage trait reworks is doing some shifts on how Mirage plays, and hopefully trying to open up new playstyles for Mirage outside of Infinite Horizons and PvE.
Alright, so let's kick things off with some updates to staff.
Yep, before we go into the other things I mentioned, staff and competitive modes, getting some cooldown reductions. These are really high, and staff has not seen a lot of play in a while, so reducing them baseline, and they will still go down further if traded for
Buffing staff in
Trade
PvP.
in Chaos.
So I hope you guys have practiced your about face phase retreats, because now you can do it slightly more often.
Yep.
Furious
and then these are the
Interruption.
interrupt traits. Furious Interruption, which currently grants just quickness when you interrupt, will also get Might to make it even more powerful. There are some powerful master traits in that line, so want to compete better with them. And then Power Block is getting a slight tweak to how it works. It's no longer going to increase the cooldown of interrupted skills, and now grant the Mesmer a damage bonus when you interrupt an enemy. So this was a trait that's kind of like how we mentioned Flashbang, also frustrating to play around. Power Block, also really frustrating to play around. So instead of making it frustrating for the enemy, we're going to make it feel better for the player, hopefully. It's still going to do the damage and weakness it does now, but now when you see interrupt, it'll say in your mind, okay, it's go time to burst. I got this damage bonus on me. So that in coordination with Furious Interruption could be a lot of bonuses at once for interrupt proc.
Yes, you're late.
So hopefully more.
Well, not late.
Around.
And you know, generally, there's already a cooldown
You missed
that's
Guardian and
interrupted.
Engineer
It's
and
going to be
Elementalist.
significantly higher. Yeah. We still feel like the window of opportunity you have is good, especially now with the extra damage bonus. It should feel better for both the interrupter and the interruptee, I suppose.
Yep.
Evasive Mirror.
Small
Mirror Walk.
Trait rework here. Evasive Mirror is now being changed to Wandering Mind. You'll cleanse the damaging condition and gain swiftness when you evade an attack. Before, Evasive Mirror a long time ago had like good uptime on the Reflect, and it was like terrible to play around, so it got nerfed to be like really low uptime, and then it was hard to track. And so we're making this trait feel a bit better to take, and give some bit more utility in that tier as well to be a more interesting choice.
Moving on to the Chronomancer.
Yep, this is what I talked about.
Is Mesmer
skipping
gonna
to the
get
bottom,
nerfed?
Improved alacrity is no longer going to increase your critical strike damage, and we're taking the power
Buff
budget
the
that was
nerfed.
there and putting into Flow of Time, the minor tier trait,
They nerfed a
which
really
is now going
strong
to increase your critical strike chance when you
trait
for you and your illusions when you are under the effect of alacrity.
and
So
buffed
that's taking the critical
staff.
strike damage, giving it back in power as critical strike chance to hopefully make it easier to crit cap as Mesmer, like Virtuoso does.
Yo,
And
Guts,
then
hey!
as well as that, we're touching the other master tier traits. Danger time is changing
Sup,
from
Guts?
critical strike chance
You still
to critical
awake?
strike damage.
That's
Danger
interesting.
Uptime previously wasn't high enough. It was hard to get slow uptime enough that you wanted to crit cap around it, so now you don't have to do that.
We're waiting for the Necro.
Damage to hopefully be an interesting burst option if you can get that slow uptime.
Just
And
woke
then
up.
Lucifer version, it used to be,
You got a nap,
really
nice.
powerful trait and then got knocked down, and so now we're trying to add alacrity in addition to its previous effects. So when you shatter 3 clones, you'll get a clone back and some alacrity to hopefully make it more interesting.
I'm gonna
for
increase
builds that
critical
wanna do
strike
that.
damage.
Probably self-alacrity only, right?
Grant alacrity. Distribute blah blah blah.
All right, moving on to Mirage. It's more
Did you
of
fix the
Brooks.
Twitch SMS code thing? No.
Yep.
I got a
Mirage
message from
getting
them.
some changes. The big one is
They
Mirage
told me
Mantle
to
is being
send
completely
my
reworked.
number to
All it
them,
will do now is
and
find
I
out
did,
what skills you use
and just waiting for the reply now.
Those boons in PvE, it is alacrity. This is how you're going to be giving alacrity on Mirage.
Hopefully
And in
it's
better modes,
fixed.
It's going to be bigger. Important thing to note.
It's
with
really
this trait
stressing
is
me
it will
out.
Only affect yourself, so you will give the same amount of alacrity no matter if you have infinite horizons with clones or not. So we're kind of cutting that tie there, and also making it so alacrity is no longer tied with staff. We want to, having a boon application like that tied to a weapon wasn't really something other classes have, and it kind of like was struggling with Mirage, made it kind of weird. So we're untying that, so hopefully
Thank you,
make
Guts.
some more interesting build options.
Yeah,
You
hope
can see
too for the
Mirrored
best.
Axe, we're also doing the same. Where it's no longer going to be an axe trait, it's called Phantom Pain. It'll cause shatters to grant you a damage bonus based on the number of illusions shattered. So it's basically going to be like, Berserker Power and Warrior gives you damage bonus for Bar of Adrenaline. It's going to be like that, except with clones. So there's going to be strike damage and condition damage. So before, Mirage Mantle also gave you a damage bonus for your Spear, which is how Power Mirage worked. That bonus is basically being rolled into Phantom Pain. So there's going to be the damage trait you take for both condition and power Mesmer builds.
Virtuoso? No?
Oh yeah, one thing is that we know a lot of Axe's power budget was tied into this trait, and so while not listed here, we're still thinking about ways to buff Axe so that it doesn't completely fall off. We want Axe to be a usable weapon, just be freed of having to take mirrored axes to be functioning. And lastly, Dooncloak is getting additional functionality that it causes your offensive shatters to be reduced when you gain Mirage Cloak. So Mind Rack and Cry of Frustration are going to get some cooldown reduction when you get Mirage Cloak, and this trait already gives you Mirage Cloak if you shatter a certain amount of clones. So we're trying to really create an engine with this trait and hope that it can pump out some damage. We want there to be a build in in-game PvE that you can play on Mirage that does not rely upon Infinite Horizons. Infinite Horizons is a super cool trait, and a lot of people love its playstyle, but a lot of people also don't like its playstyle, and so we're hoping that leaning into a more shadow-focused Mesmer and in-game PvE is possible with Dooncloak. Getting the balance right in this trait is something definitely want to keep our eye on, but we're hoping that with all of these changes, Mirage feels a lot less constrained on the weapons they have to take for what build, and the potential builds they could take are, varied with the 2 Grandmaster traits. And these are some, small changes. Axis of Symmetry, clones casting the skill will no longer be interrupted when gaining Mirage Cloak. So if you had Infinite Horizons and you used the 3 skill and then you dodge while the clones were doing their Axis of Symmetry, they'd interrupt themselves, you lose the damage from that hit so they can ambush. But now basically if you're going to gain Mirage Cloak while they're leaping forward, they're going to say wait a minute man, and then finish, and then they're going to ambush. So just to be a bit cleaner, because this was something that could be annoying, especially if you had ping, you would lose some damage there. Split Surge is getting its damage rolled baseline in PvE. This was the damage bonus that was on Mirage Mantle. So that's going to become baseline, so again, you can hopefully use Greatsword in more places. And there was also a weapon that had a long animation. And so if you tried to use back-to-back casts of this, when you're getting Mirage Cloak, there were times where you would use it once, and go back into Mirage Cloak, and it'd still be on cooldown. And so we're slightly lowering the cooldown just for Split Surge to hopefully make that less painful. And then Chaos Vortex, it's getting its boon radius increased to 480. This is to match what Mirage Mantle's radius is going to be. It's the same one as Let Loose on Ranger, so just a bit bigger.
Always nice.
Necro!
To Necro.
Lich
First
form
bullet point
tweaks.
here is a little spicy.
Quality
We
of
gotta look up
life.
to the transfusion trait.
Finally,
I see some
finally.
quality of life adjustments and some updates to Lich form. Let's hop into it first. A lot of the quality of life patch notes here because we have to slow roll the transfusion change as much as possible. Life transfer, cast time going down. This is a skill that takes a very, very long time to cast. So we are trying to find the right number where it
Reduce the cast time with the skill, increase the life force per hit.
Going to like a big channeled skill while still feeling like you aren't just channeling for so long, especially on like a core skill like this being so important to the shroud. We want to make sure that it is a bit more usable. Whale of Doom aftercast reduced. I think right now on live it's about a
that's the X
aftercast that you can
the X stun
really
skill.
do anything in. We're bringing that down pretty heavily. I think it's going to be around like 200 to 300 milliseconds aftercast now, pretty in line with a lot of other skills where we have reduced the aftercast.
Skill will go on a reduced cooldown, being despawned due to mounting.
A bit more usable and not feeling like you're just trapped in animation for so long. Fleshworm, nice little quality of life here. When you mount up, obviously the rest of your minions will kind of despawn and then respawn when you dismount. Didn't really make a whole lot of sense with Fleshworm as a stationary minion, but now that's going to be on a much lower cooldown when you dismount. Assuming it died because you mounted up and not just because it was on cooldown. And then Signet of Suffering here, another trait that just
more siphon, nice.
Play. We feel like there's a pretty big amount of power here with the Boon Rip, but the life siphoning maybe not impactful enough to incentivize like those heavier Signet builds. We have touched some of the Signets in like previous patches, so we're trying to find the right balance of making those Signets valuable enough skills and finding the right numbers on the trait here to make the trait feel appealing to those builds, but bumping up the life stealing pretty significantly. Maybe this is the right number that makes people more excited about playing Signet Necro.
Harbinger?
Update for Harbinger in PvE, the blight health reduction going down a little bit. We've seen kind of recently a lot of these
it's a Harbinger, a Harby buff.
You would say, Taylor, that are a bit more punishing, especially to Harbinger. Just being so reliant on having a good amount of blight on you, so it felt just a little bit too punishing. We've seen this number go down in PvP as well, and it feels like there is still that opportunity cost, that trade-off to having blight on you, but not so much that it feels like you just fall over to a gust of wind.
Yep.
Still slow rolling the transfusion
Lich
change.
form.
We do have the updates to Lich form here, if you want to talk about those, Taylor.
Yeah, so Lich form, just baseline getting reduced 150 to 120 seconds in all game modes. Super high cooldown, but could be just a bit lower. This is a super impactful skill in a lot of places. We want to have a justified cooldown. But also there were certain builds that wanted to take Lich form that, the current kit wasn't the most appealing. Like if you were Connie Necro that didn't want to take Plague Lands because it was too slow, but you want to take Lich form because some of the skills are good, but the other skills weren't. You'd like go in it, press all your skills, and then leave immediately, and then having a 150-second cooldown to that was like, it just felt way too long. So we're lowering it a bit and also hopefully making those skills a bit more appealing. Deathly Claws, the auto attack is now going to inflict bleeding. I think 3 stacks for 3 seconds was the front, just making it so those auto attacks have some impact even if you are a more condition focused build. So there's something that are like super deadly on power builds. We want that to be just as impactful on the condition builds that choose to take Lich form as well. And then Lich's Gaze is getting completely reworked. Before it was like a skill that you just like pressed randomly, and it would shoot like some projectile that did nothing at a random target. It was really bad. So now we're adding a new skill here that fires a projectile at your target that chills and corrupts boons on hit. So if you can think about it, like it's gonna be like a Core Shroud Dark Path with passive corruption. It's pretty good. Has like an 8-second cooldown, so you get like 2 uses out of it. If you land the chill and corrupt, it's gonna be super punishing, and then continue using some Deathly Claws on people. So hoping that, when people go into Lich form on, the condition builds, they still want to stay in there to get all the value out of it.
Reaper? No?
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Moving on. Transfusion, here it is.
Scourge,
transfusion is
Scourge.
kind of a hot topic over the last however long, whatever time
This is
period you want
the
to
4th rework
evaluate
of Transfusion.
over.
or 5th, I
We made
think.
some pretty big adjustments to this trait in the past, and you know those changes were certainly necessary for like the health of the game and making sure the trait wasn't like super overperforming. But it did feel like the current version of the trait is maybe, you know, it's lost some of the
Chill heals and
exciting
grants
component of it
protection.
at the same time. It's more of like that just general
Removes
feeling
condition to
revive trait
allies.
now. And as we're evaluating like support necro builds, and you know, not only for Scourge, but all of the builds that might want to have a more supportive weapon, there's not really a second supportive weapon. We've kind of been toying around with like which weapons are valuable for support necro, but there's never been like a really strong, dedicated other weapon to
Hey
go to.
Dino,
So
how are you?
we've identified like staff as kind of the interesting point where that could be the case. And with the current state of transfusion, we see it as like kind of an opportunity to take that slot and take it and make it more of like that supporty trait, but really tied into staff as a way to make staff that supportive weapon without changing like the core functionality of staff, because we know that
I'm doing
you know,
good.
staff on Necro hasn't gotten a ton of changes over the whole history of the game, just because it is like it's a weapon that people really enjoy, and I feel like it is a pretty well-designed weapon that does a lot of things well.
Staff is
for
good,
what
but
it is
they just
trying
need
do.
to rework the animation.
And we like that core
Of
functionality
the skills.
is, you know, a reason why it hasn't changed a ton, but this trait gives us an opportunity to kind of add more to it, because it is a Grandmaster trait. We can put some pretty strong stuff on here and really give the opportunity for staff to also be that support weapon.
Yep.
So what we're going to see here is that when you have transfusion equipped, marks will also be triggered by allies. And the reason for that is that all of your mark triggers will now heal allies, and they're also going to have some additional bonuses to allies in the area. Obviously, still having all of their baseline functionality that's going to be inflicting conditions on enemies. So, you know, the optimal placement is going to be a location where your allies are standing on top of enemies, and you get that full value of the skill. With the Kandis, you have the support. But some pretty strong stuff here. Mark of Blood just getting bigger because it is like that lower cooldown. We also have the lesser Mark of Blood from Mark of Evasion. But it does give some bigger access to Necro. Chillblades is going to have a bigger heal. They're still going to have the baseline heal from the trait that all the marks are going to have, but it's also going to have a larger heal on top of that. Also going to grant some protection to allies in the area. Putrid Mark obviously has the Kandi transform for yourself right now. It's now also going to cleanse allies, and it will do that in a, you know, intelligent order, so that you will transfer conditions first, and then the cleanse will happen, so that you make sure that you are getting that transfer value. And then Reaper's Mark, kind of the big one here, getting a pretty solid stability attached to it. I think we went with 3 stacks for 5 seconds initially, and we're going to see how that goes. But we want to make sure that, you know, again, Grandmaster trait, kind of the big 5 skill, the big CC, also going to grant stab to your allies. Make sure it's a pretty good amount. And then, notably, you're going to get an extra Chillblades prop when you use Shroud Skill 4. So keeping that same hook, we felt it was like a pretty good cooldown across all the specs, where it is like an interesting way to trigger something. Don't want to do the heal pulses anymore, but you will get that burst of healing because Chillblades now heals and grants.
If you don't mind, maybe later you can make a video
You know, you can get them
to summarize all the balances. Yeah, sure, I will.
And then you have all the marks that are on the staff itself. A decent number of mark triggers, which are all going to do that healing, all going to do some support stuff, and you know, it could be pretty interesting, not only for support builds, but other builds that are maybe trading into blood. And now you have access to even some personal stability on.
They basically turned staff into a support weapon.
And for now, we've also
They changed a lot of the
identified
staff
Mark of
skills.
Blood as a
If you
mark
have
that should always trigger from
transfusion
allies, because it has that
trait.
regeneration component. It's pretty weird with Mark of Evasion when you dodge and you create a Mark of Blood that theoretically should give you regen, but it just doesn't trigger because there's no enemy on top of you.
Also, they
We are
reworked
thinking about potentially that could just be baseline.
some of the Lich form skills.
Dodge and then Mark of
You know, Lich form when you turn into that
transfusion.
big Lich,
So obviously
the lead skill.
that, theoretical feedback.
And they buffed Harbinger a little bit.
That's something that we can easily tune and change back, but keeping the ally triggering marks on transfusion obviously makes a lot of sense.
They made it like less punishing for Harbingers to get blight stacks that makes their HP less.
Moving into Ranger next.
Oh, that's it. That's it for Necro.
Ranger, some small updates for Ranger this patch.
They didn't touch Reaper. They didn't touch any of the. Thankfully,
Trade adjustments.
thank God.
Ranger is a class that's still looking on. I think after the preview, it'd be pretty reasonable to say. It's just a bit of changes. I think Condi Soul Beast specifically is a build that is on my mind in both PvE and competitive modes. In PvP, Condi Soul Beast looking maybe a bit too strong. Touch it down there, and then in PvE, a bit that's maybe too weak. Bump it up a bit there. So still thinking about that, but for now we have these changes as well. Throw Torch. It's getting a bit of defense added to it. So Torch was like a high DPS weapon, but it was kind of like all it did was burn people. So it's getting a bit more utility here. That's adding blindness and another ammo to Throw Torch to hopefully add some
Chat.
defensive use in the right time. And then Bonfire is getting the same change that we did to Firebomb and then Symbol of Resolution, where the first tick is going to be a lot more burning, and then the other ticks will be less impactful. Yep. And then 2 skirmishing Grandmaster traits. The first one is Quick Draw is becoming quicker. It's now going to grant quickness in addition to its previous effects. So it's going to become kind of like Brutality on Revenant, which we see is a popular trait sometimes. It's still going to give you that CDR, but now it's going to give you some quickness. So in modes where you don't always have quickness, it'll feel even better to get that, swap, use that one skill, and then continue on. And then Light on Your Feet is being changed. Right now it only additionally procs on Quick Shot. It's now being changed to proc on any Ranger skill that evades. So, your Lightning Reflexes, your Stalker Strike, it's all going to give you the buff. And then the buff duration itself is going from 4 to 6 seconds. So the goal is to get a lot more uptime on this trait so that its damage bonuses can shine a bit more.
I think you had a fun anecdote about trait icons.
Oh, yeah. These trait icons are really good. Light on Your Feet is just a light bulb on a foot. I think the artist who drew that thought they were like so smart. And then Quick Draw is like a pistol.
They were.
And then Vicious
Sorry, that's my phone.
Game.
Vicious Quarry, for those who don't know,
Guys, it's huge. They nerf Reaper,
and that's why it's the Guild Wars 2 icon.
Nice.
Again, whoever made these icons was a genius.
This
is my favorite part about adding them to this PowerPoint.
It is a dangerous game. Some days maybe 12 years ago you were playing Guild Wars 2, and then one day you woke up and you were streaming live, describing changes to the next balance update live to your players. And that is, an interesting thing, and all the technical difficulties that come along with that.
Yeah.
We still got some Ranger stuff to talk about.
Yep, these are again smaller changes for the elite specializations. Unstoppable Union was a trait that was hard to get value out of. It gave you protection and trigger plus cleanse things when you went into beast mode. But kind of playing around that trigger when you're already in beast mode a lot, it's kind of hard because then you go.
What are you talking about?
So
Out of
that's going to
space.
give you just protection when entering and leaving it, and hopefully be a more reliable trigger you can get value out of. And then going on to Untamed, 2 changes. Cleansing Unleash is a trait that used to make a lot of sense back when Unleashing had a cooldown.
I actually care about Untamed.
Was removed, which it feels good without a cooldown, but then this trait is kind of random tracking the timer, and so now the timer will be on the buff bar, kind of like Clarion Bond is, so you don't have to we want the cleanse and you're just spamming Unleash. You don't know when it's going to proc, but now you will know if you have it or not, and hopefully that will be feeling better. And
you're American Outer Space?
Is a trait that's been reworked a ton of times, and then we're reworking it again. So when there's a lot of words that's kind of hard to understand, but hopefully in game it'll make a lot more sense. When you and your pet unleash for every interval for a duration, so this means every second for 5 seconds, you get a stack of Biorhythm, which is going to grant a percentage of your strike damage as healing. That's kind of what the trait already does. And then when you reach the Biorhythm stack threshold, so it's if you reach 5 stacks, the next time you and your pet unleash, you'll gain both bonuses from Vow of the Untamed. So this is kind of a trait that wants to encourage staying in both unleashed and leashed states for equal amounts of time, staying in there for at least 5 seconds, because a lot of the gameplay around Untamed now is
I thought only Americans care about
press F1 through F3,
like basketball.
So trying a trait that incentivizes you to stay in both forms to keep the bonuses for Vow of the Untamed. Maybe it'll be interesting. We'll see.
Sounds pretty interesting.
3 days till the event.
Move on to the Revenant next. So we got some updates to Alex, the Revenant stance. Adding some of those Dark Aura traits to the Corruption trait line here that we talked about a little bit earlier. And a little bit of a nice adjustment, I guess a couple adjustments for Support Vindicator in PvE. Will it be a real build after this patch? Well, stay tuned. So, kicking things off with the changes to Demon Stance, Empowering Misery. This is just going to give you an extra
Revenant?
Dark Aura, and it's also going to give you some Might per condition on you.
I don't really care really about Revenant.
Revenant healing skills. You have to be a little
Thanks
bit
for the
careful
Berserker Reaper
because
build.
It has access to 2 pretty easily.
You're welcome, man.
So we didn't want to bump up the healing
Welcome.
amount too much here, but we figured that with the extra Dark Aura stuff that's being added to Corruption, which we'll get to in a minute, the extra Dark Aura will feel pretty good on the heal.
The most recent one?
Stacks. You know, you can have a lot of
With the Relic of Vampirism?
so you can get a lot of might from the skill potentially. And then the other thing that we're trying to do.
I think that's it for the dev talk. Unless you guys care about other classes. I don't, to be honest. Warrior. Who else still? Okay, I'm on Condy Reaper. No. Damage. Suffer. Okay. Yes, go with Well of Darkness too. Shrouded Removal. Dark Defiance. Okay. Play. Someone wanna come PvP with me? I'm playing Reaper though. Boost.
Take care of yourself.
Oh, look at this adorable man. Stop being awesome. We can box anything. Hey, Amuli. Hey, baby. Hey, Rahi. I'll be right back. I'm back. Huge kisses for you. Thank you, baby. Hey, rats. La la la. Let's turn off display capture. Game capture. Chat box. What training did you have, Rat? Also, baby, what are you doing? Log. Reaper mark. This is gonna change. This is gonna change. This is gonna change. Complicated to explain all here, but Conti Druid, Wolf's Vault, and I'm waiting on Q for Zerg Heal Druid. Oh, I wanna try Conti Druid. I saw a build yesterday, and I kinda like it. Looks good.
The match starts soon.
I feel furious.
Hold on to your points. Seize theirs.
Go solo?
An enemy ship is pulling into the harbor. It's the Capricorn. You've lost the dock.
I'm using Reaper build, which was posted months ago. I hit ground for ascended gear, don't have power. Off will, ground legendary armor, so I'm sticking
Your
to it.
enemy took the archway.
Oh, come on. Wanna play?
Might and glory. Your soul is mine. Your soul is mine.
Am I actually getting good at PvP? Or this guy is kinda bad?
It's poison. Your soul is mine. Chill to the bone.
Come on, stop running away. Oh my god.
Your soul is mine.
The bazaar is yours.
I'm using my own Reaper builds for years. Okay.
They've taken the bazaar from you.
Ready for more. Your soul is mine. Attack my target.
Signal them to fire.
ولا بجرب بعدين نص ساعة على الأقل نجيك. ما عنديش.
Your soul is mine. I am
Oh, I think we're winning. Maybe. To the bomb, this eye of Cirrus.
The bell. Fire all cannons.
Oh, we're losing. Oh god. I didn't even realize we are the blue ones. My team didn't even take any point. Oh well.
You've lost the dock. You've taken the archway.
swift and steady.
Oh god.
Your soul is mine. Chill to the bone. I am death. Safe from harm. Help? I don't have long. Nothing.
Of course they have a Willbender.
Your soul is mine. Suffer.
Let's just run away.
Your enemy took the archway. Be ready to give the signal and return fire once the cannons are loaded.
Your soul is mine.
Cannons loaded. Ring the bell to signal them to fire.
Hey Mord, how are you?
Your enemy took the archway.
Is it so hard to take some points?
You've taken the archway. The bazaar is yours. Red team, ring the bell. Fire all cannons.
GG.
Chill to the bone. Suffer. Your soul is mine.
Look. When he gets his ass kicked, he just run away. I know he needs to kite, but come on.
They taken the bazaar from you.
Your soul is mine. Suffer.
Goodbye, goodbye, buddy. Yeah. At least I can kill you. Get my revenge.
Not enough energy.
Your enemy took the archway.
I hate
Be
willies.
ready to give the signal and return fire once the cannons are loaded.
I took that relic that turns your heal, like anti-heal, into stronger anti-heal. I think that's what I have right now. I took vampirism. I serious. Upon using last skill, someone I routine deal damage, converting boosts into conditions. Oh, that's actually good. I should use it. I just need a win. One win.
The match starts soon. Last chance to nail down your strategy.
All right, you lot. We'll seize this town right after we settle things with the local lord.
Nothing can save you. Shake it off. Not enough energy. Your soul is mine. Nothing can save you.
They're at our outer gate.
Your soul is mine.
Look at all this CC.
Nothing can save you. Suffer.
They're at our outer gate.
Bye bye.
Your soul is mine.
This is it, mates. Keep them out.
Nothing can save you.
Are you watching the Good Losses stream? I did watch it right now. No more like necro stuff, so I just went away. Just doing my PvP event.
Suffer. Nothing can save you.
Okay. Dual up CC.
What are you waiting for? Can't be far to that distance.
Death stalks me.
Look. Khalil. What's up, Khalil? Okay, that's ours.
I'll have to finish this.
Nothing can save you. Suffer. Your soul is mine.
Look at that. There we. Easy. Bye bye. Oh, Scourge. My nemesis.
Your soul is mine. Suffer. Your soul is mine. Nothing can save you.
Ashraf, I'm vaping right now. Come on, let's vape together. No. Just let me kill some people and I'll vape with you.
Your soul is mine. We'll win. I am definitely
There's mist essence nearby to be
Ow,
had.
ow, 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 ow.
Find
That's
it
a lot
so
of
we can summon ourselves a hero.
condo.
What are you waiting for? Can't be far to that distance.
Meow, 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 meow. Meow. Ah. Ow, 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 ow. I'm dying, I'm dying, I'm dying. Nico needs a new light vaporize. Elite. What do you keep saying a light? Okay, no one is coming.
I'll have to finish this.
I have to finish this. Staff 3 heals.
Chill to the bone. Nothing can save you. Suffer.
I got one Reaper with me, that's good.
Your soul is mine.
The spell breaker is so annoying.
Chill to the bone.
Nothing can save you. Stop me, you won't escape.
Your soul is mine. Suffer. Nothing can save you. I make a pretty good team. I am death.
Not now, not ever.
There's best essence nearby to be had. Find it so we can summon ourselves a hero. This is it, mates. Keep them out. This is it, mates. Keep them out.
I'll have to finish this. Your soul is mine. Nothing can save you.
This is it, mates. Keep them out.
Ow.
Chill to the bone. Your soul is mine.
This is it, mates. Keep them out.
Nothing can save you. Your soul is mine. Your soul is mine.
Now's our chance to end this. Kill their lord.
Yes.
Your soul is mine. Nothing can save you. Suffer. Your soul is mine. Chill to the bone. Suffer.
There's best essence nearby to be had. Find it so we can summon ourselves a hero.
Oh. Okay. I survived a lot in this time. Why does Spellbreaker have like 3,000 stuns though?
I'll have to finish this. I'll have to finish this. from her. Your soul is mine. Suffer.
Oh, he wants me. Ow, 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 ow.
Nothing can save.
Guys, come on.
I need assistance.
This is it, mates. Keep them out.
GG.
Now this town belongs to us. This is it, mates. Keep them out.
Okay, it's Cantha. Nice, 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 nice.
Your lord is under attack.
Ooh. Come on. Is there a way to select these? Oh, okay, okay, okay. Goodbye, PvP. Mm, 9:30 now for me. Rats, you're still awake now? Usually sleep at this time. Obsidian weapon box. It's still on queue for Ethereum Bastion, and I go soon from Galostio. Salt spray. Canthin Champion weapon box. Canthin Champion weapon box. Okay, all these skins are cheap. So I should just pick anyone. Locked. Oh, that's a nice one. We went late. Chief was learning, teaching you stuff. Are you happy with the new changes? Maybe that staff change gonna... Hey Ollie, are you happy about the staff? The staff changes? Gonna be able to support us? Nice. They gave you like a support weapon. I'm happy for you. Yeah, because that basically is a healer weapon then. Yeah. Yes. So you're gonna like be Staff Scourge from now on? Ash, hey Kuro! Thank you, brother. Where have you been? Why don't you come to the Twitch streams? What staff change? Yeah, rats. Staff basically became a support weapon when you have a transfusion on. Splendid. Spindrift weapon box. Forgot your Twitch password? Then make another Twitch. What are you talking about? Do you know how many Twitch accounts I have? Like 13. I used to make them to get that League of Legends rewards. How does staff become healing? Nothing there heals extinct. They made like a stream today. The devs made a stream. They're gonna turn the staff into a support weapon, but only when you're using transfusion trait. So like they basically reworked what is it? Transfusion? Yeah. They reworked this trait. Right now this trait Shroud skill heals and particularly revive nearby. They reworked it to when you use this trait, the staff becomes like a healer weapon. Yeah. Support weapon. You're lazy. Come on, man. Did I give you like a Twitch account? Come to the stream? There won't be any reason, which is sad. I'm so happy they didn't touch the Reaper or any of the Dragon Jade tier weapon. What should I get from here? I'd rather have the staff than his own transfusion. So staff is still good for the open world guide you have for Power Reaper. Yes, it is still good. It's only gonna change if you use like a certain trait, so it still have the same effect. It's actually better now. So it can turn into a healer weapon whenever you want. Gave it more stuff for it. Ash, I'm gonna be real with you, staff is not my favorite weapon for anything except for PvP. Yeah, what's wrong with that? That's totally fine. Your opinion. I'm not a staff lover. I want it to change actually, like the effects. They're kinda boring. You just make circles, that's it. Circle, 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 that's it. It's kinda like spammy. Okay, this chest is worthless too, so let's just pick any skin. End of Dragons reward coffer. Dagger sword or even sword are much more useful in open world. Also dagger is really cool. Kinda like a niche, but really nice to use. Dagger.
Your soul is mine.
Oh. GLV, Mr. Mew, oh, that's you? Finally, man. $10 years to give us a follow on Twitch. Now you're Meow. Now you're
Your
Meow.
soul is mine.
Meow 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 meow. Meow 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 meow. Meow 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 meow. Meow 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 meow.
You rarely see one of those.
Okay, nice. Mr. Clovers. Good. Yeah, Harvey buff in PvE. That's really good. They gave him some love finally.
That's valuable.
Koro. Yo, Koro. Watch this. Lula 2026. What? You see that badass scythe? The scythe. Yeah, it's expensive too. 170 gold. I don't know if I should give it away or keep it. Ah, you got the mechanical one? I gave away the sun scythe yesterday. It's kinda a little bit similar. less old one. Let's see. Here. Sun Scythe. Yes, this one I gave away yesterday. Gave it away to Hans. Wait, you don't even have it yourself, Ash? No, I don't. Don't have it. I kinda like don't want to betray my Nevermore. Keep it, bro. You deserve it. Yeah, okay.
Your soul is mine.
Someone said it to me for giveaway though. So I'll just ask him. Reaper to the rescue. Yo, Gale, hey. What's up, brother? Ooh, I need to go soon. I'm gonna check for the email from the Twitch staff. Nope. Not here. Okay. Okay, they just replied to me. They said the issue should be solved by now, but I'm not really sure. Let's check it together. Am I gonna have a future on Twitch or no? What happened? What's the lore I missed? Ah, you didn't know, Ollie. I have a problem. I got accepted to the affiliate program today in Twitch. That means I can make money from ads and like donations and stuff. And they wanted me to verify my phone number, and I couldn't receive the verification code. So I sent a ticket to the support. And they kept waiting for a reply. They said it should be solved now, but I'm not sure. I'll see now. Hopefully you'll have good news now. Sometimes the verification code can take time. Okay. Oh, I got it. I got it, actually. They solved it. Awesome. They solved it. They actually solved it. Those chads. I was very stressed about it today. Awesome. Yes. Now I can sleep peacefully. And my girlfriend don't have to worry about me being depressed or sad. A lot of times when like I feel a negative emotion, I get worried about other people's emotion about me instead of worrying about myself, you know? Ash, could you stream it while playing Elden Ring? You wanna torture me, man? Mr. Mew? That's Kuro, your Kuro? Or another one? Meow. Oh, Meow. Is that Guts? You changed your name? That's you, Guts? Ah, Kuro, okay. Okay, Kuro, give me a donation and I'll play Elden Ring on stream. And die like 50 times. There's actually some cool scythe in Elden Ring. I haven't played that game in a long time. But actually, if I want to play the game, I need to be King of the Pirates, if you know what I mean. I need to be Goldie Roger to download it.
I don't have enough energy.
I haven't played that expansion they did. Also, I played it modded. I played the game modded to make it easier for me. That's pathetic, I know. But I don't want to stress myself over a game, man. And I'm not like a Dark Soul pro or something. I never played a Dark Soul. Get the One Piece. I started getting more views on Twitch than YouTube. And they have 6K on YouTube. That's really funny. Guys, we should do the fashion contest tomorrow, by the way. On the guild. Fashion contest. I think Liv gonna win Ollie. But maybe someone can defeat Ollie finally. Ollie is the final boss. Maybe a cat will do. I'm happy to be a judge instead. Yes, Ollie, you need to be nerfed. You already got buffed a lot. They gave you a staff even. A healer staff. You literally became Gandalf. Ollie was sad because like Scourge got nerfed a lot. Then they gave him a staff. Healer staff. Then he became Ollie the White. Oblivion? I wanted to play the new rework. Maybe I should play it. Next legendary armor will be light for me. You already have a legendary armor? Which one you have? What's the legendary armor you have now? Oh, heavy. I'll leave the white. Because he's guarding the Revenant a lot. Oh my god, I forgot something, guys. I forgot something really important. I forgot to play the Ollie anthem. You guys wanna hear the Ollie anthem?
We have protected Tarir for over a century. It will not fall this day.
You guys wanna hear the Ollie anthem? This song is about Ollie.
Soften them up. One becomes two.
You guys ready? You guys ready? You guys ready?
Tarir must be retaken from the Mordrum.
I'm gonna play it every stream. Remind me, please, guys.
Shield to the bone. Your soul is mine.
Space Tune, yes. Yes, Coral already knows where this from. Actually, my girlfriend told me about it. He said, like, his name is Ollie. That reminds me of something. And then she gave me the song. Good old days, yes. These songs are kind of like our childhood. Used to listen to them a lot. Who knows Slam Dunk, guys? Like the anime. Slam Dunk. Any old school anime you know about? Hmm.
You killed my might. Shield to the bone. Nothing can save you.
Actually, the Arabic songs for Slam Dunk hits so hard. سيف النار. سيف النار.
Vital recovery. Focused. Concentration.
I hope I didn't get demonetized because of olele, olele. Fist of the North Star. Thunderjet. Oh, Thunderjet, that's Hazim Murat. زي مرات زي مرات.
Hold the line.
Let's listen to some memories. Music, please don't stop the music. Oh, stop, 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 stop. Ooh. I forgot I'm on YouTube. 3 seconds of another song and I get demonetized. Hey, buddy, can I join your guild? Of course. Are you like an active player, Zach? Because I think I'm gonna start kicking out people. A lot of people just join for the name, you know, and they don't play the game anymore. I should like have a limit on the activity, maybe like a month or so. Yeah, give me your in-game name and I'll send you. That's a sub on YouTube. Okay. Give me and
You rarely see me.
okay, I'll go listen to Amal Hayati. Amal Hayati. The hope of my life. Maybe I'll finish soon, by the way.
Focused. Concentration.
I'll come, let's watch some friends, also let's celebrate.
I'm renewed. Let's do this.
Celebrate what? I sent you a message. They they fixed that Twitch thingy. They verified my number. Twitch is official. Yeah, like I had the problem with them. I kept trying to verify my phone number, which I need to like activate payment and stuff like that. And there was a problem, so I had to use the support. Yes.
You rarely see one of those.
By the way, Koro, why didn't you log into the game for a long time? Exam times? Have exams these days? Yeah, that's why you look in a better mood. Yeah, yeah. Well, earlier I got distracted by killing people. Killing people makes me feel better. In the game, I mean. Especially willbenders. The moment I killed a willbender, I felt so much better. It's slowly becoming my nemesis. More than Scourge. Nick is Tunim. Give me the hack. Give me the in-game name along with the code, if you can. Because if I write your character name, I can't add you. Is see, I can't add you, or maybe I do. There's no players in that name. Okay.
Focused. Concentration.
Ranks. Okay. Edit. Change text. I'm a guardian and I hate Willbender too. They didn't nerf him. I was hoping they're gonna nerf Willies. But, you know, Guardian is the spoiled boy of ArenaNet. The shiny knight. Fourth, third.
I'll see you around.
Y'all just jealous? I love playing Guardian, it's actually fun to play. It's just like Willbenders have a lot of stuff. Like 4 dashes in one weapon. It's kind of like League of Legends when a new champion gets released and it's very OP, but eventually they nerf him. But Willbender haven't been nerfed a lot. I'll go for now. Call me when you finish. Good luck. Thank you, baby. Yeah, I'll call you. I'll finish in a bit. I'll like and end the stream soon. I just wanted to see the Necromancer stuff. Yeah, Rahi, bye bye. I'll come to you now. Actually, I can move in Moldvazol with Ben faster than Warclaw. Exactly. Especially Firebrand, he is so much fun. Feels low, but actually fun. Yes, I like a Firebrand. Yeah, I agree. Firebrand is really cool.
Your soul is mine.
Okay, new follow. Nice. I'm so silly. When can I find it? Okay, the hack. Go to contacts and LFG next to the settings, the game menu, and you'll find it here. This is the code and the name, in-game name. Also, whenever like I post like a giveaway, this is the code that you should post on your comment for me to actually be able to mail you. Oh, okay. What? You're so fast, Ollie. Fastest gun in the West. Oh, it's because I have delay on the chat, that's why. Guts. Ta-da! Take some mushrooms. Take some beer. Praise Joko. Praise Joko. Oh, he don't know yet. He don't know yet. Don't spoil for him, guys. Don't spoil for Guts. I can give him less. Oh, 2.5 seconds. 3 on a good day. Okay, I need to go now, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe you can do the guild missions tomorrow instead of Sunday. And the contest. Fetching contest tomorrow. See you, good night. Yeah, everyone is late today. GG's. Good night, everyone. Silvari Reaper out. Bye-bye. بتي تصبح على خير كرو. تصبح على خير. Take care. Good night, everyone.